StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई affordable.
Hello and a very warm welcome to my dear students in today's class. I am Pooja Dwivedi and I bring to you the latest news in a fashion that you would be able to definitely crack Prelims 2024. These are not just MCQs but the tactics on how to understand the concept or the important facets of the sentences so that you can ace Prelims 2024. Before I begin, let me tell you about the events that I'm going to make you understand step by step today. A new batch is getting launched from the 19th of June and it is a completely in English batch if you want to avail the offer for the Prelims to interview batch, where you will be provided classes plus one-on-one mentorship. Other than that, study materials, everything is just available at rupees 60,000. But if you use this code PDLIVE, you will get it for 29,999 only. Let's begin with the first news or the first MCQ or prelims question for today. That is with respect to primary agricultural credit societies, consider the following statements. These constitute the lowest tier of the short-term cooperative credit structure in the country and these provide short-term loan only. They also function as common service center. So let us see what are the options we have to choose from. These are the many options that we have to choose from. As primary agriculture credit societies, they actually are in direct relationship with the rural population. That is why they are the lowest in the structure. So if you know this much, that the primary agriculture credit societies is in direct relationship with the farmers or the agriculture sector, then you can understand it is the lowest of them all. Then we have the district level, then the state level. Also, these not only provide the short-term loans, but also medium-term loans and other input services such as seeds, fertilizers, etc. Recently, a memorandum of understanding was reached at in which another range of services could be provided through the PACs. And hence they are also working as common service center. Why have I asked this question? Because the PACs will be brought under the Prime Minister Kisan Samriddhi Kendras. And this actually works under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers. They provide soils, fertilizers, soil testing issues also get solved over here. Other agricultural techniques are also answered. So remember that. Moving ahead, if we talk about the PACs, as I told you, these are village level cooperative credit societies and it is the last tier of the structure. The other, of course, is district central cooperative banks and state cooperative banks. State is at the topmost, it's the head. And the DCCBs work directly with PACs. So refinancing is done through NABARD with the network of state cooperative banks and DCCBs. Remember that. Cooperative bodies are PSCs. Primary agricultural credit societies are actually cooperative bodies. So they have individual farmers as members and hence the election or the elected member takes place from within them only. And a village can have multiple PACs. This can also become a good prelim statement that a village can only have a single PAC. No, it can have multiple PACs. Okay. Now these provide short-term and medium-term loans as well as other input services, pesticide distribution along with fertilizers and seeds. These are refinanced by NABARD through the DCCBs and state cooperative banks. They function as common service center and more than 300 centers will be made available to be working in that fashion. And I have already given you this information. The PDF when it will be provided, you will learn it through this as well. But do not only depend on the PDF because I will tell you the answers over here and how to connect the dots. With respect to tropical cyclones, which of the following statement is not correct? They form between approximately 5 degree and 30 degree latitude. The Coriolis force deflects the cyclone in anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. Tropical cyclones initially moves eastwards and slightly towards the poles. The tropical cyclones never form in the equator. Actually, they form approximately 5 degree to 30 degree latitudes is correct because Coriolis force is present over here. And because of the formation of depression and that is because of too much heat in the oceans, it is easily doable in the 5 degree to 30 degree latitude. I have covered this in the cyclone Biparjoy. So if you want to know more in depth about it, you can go to the English channel and look at it. The Coriolis deflects the cyclone in an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere. This is also definitely correct because here is the earth and the Coriolis force actually makes the winds to deflect in the right. And hence, when it is to the right, it will go in an anti-clockwise direction. In southern hemisphere, it is in clockwise direction. Alright, second is also correct. Tropical cyclones initially move eastwards and slightly towards the poles is not correct. Why? Because of easterlies. Easterlies work like this, right? So because of this, they will be pushed towards the west. The wind is coming from the east. When it is pushed towards the west, it is moving westward and not eastward, and they move towards the poles. The tropical cyclones never form in the equator, or it's negligible because what happens? Coriolis force is not present over there, or the effect is very weak. Cyclone Biparjoy is moving northwards, and that is causing a lot of havoc and panic in the northern areas of India, specifically Gujarat right now. It formed in the, of course, if we have to answer this question, Southeast Arabian Sea. I have covered that also. And as you can see, this is turning into a severe cyclonic storm. That means its wind speed is 88 to 117 km per hour. I have covered this in depth. Moving ahead. What are tropical cyclones? When a low pressure area is surrounded by other atmospheric disturbances, we call it a cyclone. And this actually happens around a low pressure area. Why? Because of the evaporation of water due to heat in the ocean. When a depression is created, the air transcends or ascends downwards, and the constant fueling of warm air and cold air. This gets fueled with the help of Coriolis force and other winds and other effects. What happens? The tropical cyclone occurs. It is distinguished by swift, often destructive air circulation, accompanied by violent storms and bad weather. The word cyclone comes from the Greek word cyclos. It means the coils of a snake. And the air actually circulates inward. It goes towards the inside in an anti-clockwise direction in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere, as I can show you from here how in the right the objects get deflected because of Coriolis force, and it's vice versa in the southern area, southern hemisphere. All right. Moving on to the next part of it is there is a lot of factors, many factors that are responsible for it. First, there should be a proper temperature for a tropical cyclone to develop, that is in excess of 27 degrees Celsius. This is the minimum. Winds near the ocean surface blowing from different directions should not be, should be converging enough, should not be going here and there, just converging enough to give birth to these storm clouds. Wind which do not vary greatly with height. That means wind should be constant in nature. If winds won't be constant in nature, the tropical cyclones will get disturbed. If there will be too much wind, the cyclone will get disturbed and scattered. If the wind is not too much, it will have enough space to develop itself, and sufficient distance should be there from the equator so that Coriolis effect can come into place. And this is the diagram. I have also talked about this diagram in cyclone Biparjoy. Now, tropical cyclone actually moves westward because of the easterly trades, and once it moves further away from the equator, it can after that escape the force and move in its own direction. All right, so I hope you all understood this. Next, consider the following statements with respect to Saudi Arabia. The Jeddah port is situated in the Red Sea. Riyadh lies to the south of the Tropic of Cancer. Medina lies to the north of Mecca. So how many statements given above is or are correct? Let's see. First of all, we must know that why have I asked you this question? Because Prime Minister Modi has spoken with Saudi Crown Prince to thank him for evacuation of Indian people from Sudan with the help of Jeddah port. Other than that, the first batch of Hajj pilgrims from Kashmir have also left for annual pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina. That is why I asked you this question. So, here is the Jeddah port, here is Sudan. Crossing the Red Sea, people reach to Jeddah and hence from Saudi Arabia to India in whatever fashion, from air flight. Moving ahead. Now, this as you can see is the map of Saudi Arabia, and here is the Red Sea, this region. Jeddah port is actually in the Red Sea, so that is definitely correct. Jeddah port is in the Red Sea, you have to remember that. So that makes the first statement to be definitely correct. Then Riyadh lies to the south of the Tropic of Cancer. Let's look at that as well. Riyadh actually lies to the north of Tropic of Cancer. Here is the Tropic of Cancer, almost going from the middle of Saudi Arabia. Alright, so Riyadh is to the north of Tropic of Cancer. You have to remember that as well. That makes the second statement to be incorrect. I guess it was asking south, right? It's incorrect. Medina lies to the north of Mecca. Let's talk about that as well. So Medina actually lies to the north of Mecca. Here is, let me erase this. Here is Mecca and here is Medina. So it is lying to the north of Mecca. Medina lies to the north of Mecca. So remember that. Alright. This is correct. First is also correct but not second. 2 only will be the correct answer, and this is the reason it's important you must know about maps as well. So moving on to the next question, let us talk about this with respect to heat waves. Consider the following statements. Heat waves need not be considered till maximum temperature of a station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius. For whom? For plains. For which region? For plains. For hilly station, it should be at least 30 degrees Celsius. Second, when actual maximum temperature remains 45 degrees Celsius or more, irrespective of the normal maximum temperature, heat wave should be declared. 11 states, in the 11 states, IMD through its networks has said that heat waves is going to be there for the upcoming days. That is why this question has been asked. So this is the option that we have to choose from. First statement is definitely correct. If the maximum temperature of the station reaches at least 40 degrees Celsius for the plains and 30 degrees Celsius for the hilly regions, then heat waves are considered to be taking place. And when the actual maximum temperature remains 45 degrees Celsius or above, then heat waves should be declared. So both are actually correct. Option C, both 1 and 2 will be the correct answer. Now, as I already told you, in states such as Jharkhand, Bihar, Uttar Pradesh, heat waves are declared by the IMD. What is a heat wave? There is quantitative and qualitative difference. Qualitatively, heat wave is a condition of air temperature which becomes fatal to human body. Human body cannot sustain it. Second, quantitatively, it is defined which is based on the temperature threshold. That means if you want the quantitative answer, you must know what is the temperature of a certain place. So, it is defined based on the temperature threshold, like 40 degrees Celsius and above, 50 degrees Celsius and above. Okay, and that is important for us to know from the perspective of preliminary examination. So, if you look at this chart I have with me, heat wave is considered, I have already told you this, so no need to read that on. Based on departure from normal. What is the normal temperature and how much departure is there? For example, heat wave is considered to be a heat wave when from the normal temperature, supposedly there is a normal temperature of 39 degrees Celsius of a place. But when it is departed from that more than 4.5 degrees Celsius, 4.5 degrees Celsius or more to 6.4 degrees Celsius. So remember that from departure also we can know. From 39 degrees Celsius, if it goes more than 4.5 to 6 something, then there will be a heat wave. And also based on actual maximum temperature that I have already told you. Period of heat wave is generally from March to June, very seldom in July, rare cases July. And if we talk about the places, then in peninsular India, generally it occurs over northern India and peninsular India. So if we talk about northern India, of course, northwest India is more prone, central, east and north India. North peninsular from March to June covers the state of Punjab, Haryana, Union Territory of Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Gujarat, most of the regions. So in the PDF, you can look through this as well. Moving ahead to the next portion. The exercise Air Defender 23 is the largest deployment of Air Force in NATO's history. Which of the following countries will host it? In order to show solidarity against Russia, 25 countries out of 31 NATO countries are participating, bringing their aircrafts so that they can contain Russia's expansion in a way or the other. It is being hosted by Germany. Okay, so this has to be remembered. The other facets of this exercise also has to be remembered. Air Defender exercise is going to happen, the largest to be in history. Of course, this is a message to Russia. NATO's biggest Air Force exercise, Air Defender, will take place in Germany. But this is, of course, a you can say defending exercise. It is not an attacking or offending exercise. So they have said Kaliningrad region is belonging to Russia, which is sandwiched between Lithuania and Poland. The aircrafts will not cross through this region because they do not want to send the message to Russia that they are attacking it. And this will be a 10-day military undertaking. Primarily, it will be hosted by Germany, but some level of training exercise will also take place in Estonia, Latvia, and the Czech Republic. All right. And as I already told you, 24 partner countries are arriving. Over 200 aircrafts are arriving as well. So you have to remember this. Other than that, NATO, of course, NATO was formed in 1949 to contain the erstwhile Soviet Union by 12 founding members. Now it has risen to 31 members. It was 12 earlier, but now it has gone up to 31. Finland is the latest one to join. Okay, Finland joined in 2023. It's a political as well as military organization. According to Article 5, if any European or any NATO country is attacked, supposedly USA was attacked, then it will be considered as an attack on all the people, all the countries of NATO, not people, all the countries of NATO. And it has been invoked only once during the 9/11 attack. Remember that. Alright. Next, consider the following pairs. We have to match the space missions to the launching vehicles. Gaganyaan LVM-3, Chandrayaan-3, GSLV Mark 3, Aditya L1, Lagrangian point 1. How many pairs given above is or are correct? This could be a tricky question. If it escapes your mind that launching vehicles are equally important because they show us the stage development, indigenous stage development and capacity of ISRO. So first is definitely correct, Gaganyaan, through which it's actually a human space flight mission. It is going on an LVM-3 mission. Chandrayaan will be held up through GSLV Mark 3 and Aditya L1 PSLV XL. All three are correct. That is why option C is the correct answer. Safety is first. According to ISRO's chief, he is not going to rush into an unsafe yet mission-bound space flight when it comes to Gaganyaan. The simple thing is that Gaganyaan was supposed to be launched by 2022 in 2022 at the 75th independence year, but it couldn't take place because of the delays due to pandemic. But now safety issues may be occurring, glitches may be occurring. That is why he is saying that we are going to go through it in 2024. Many other space missions are also packed. And if India does that, India will become the fourth nation in the world to launch humans into space. Others are, of course, USA, Russia and China. Gaganyaan project envisages demonstration of human space flight capability by launching a crew of 3 members. Remember that. 3 members. Orbit you have to remember of 400 kilometers. For how many days? For 3 days mission, and also to bring them back safely with the help of landing them in the Indian sea waters. Okay. Other than that, Aditya L1 is an Indian solar observation satellite which will be placed in the Lagrangian point through the PSLV XL. The fundamentals of this particular mission is to look through the physical processes of the heat in the solar corona. Corona is the least understood area of the sun. To accelerate this, actually, corona accelerates the solar wind, which causes harm to solar flares occur, and solar flares occur harm to the satellites. That is why it is important to understand it. Halo orbit L1 Lagrangian point is the point from where the Aditya L1 will constantly look at the sun. Why this point is chosen? Because it is going to happen in a continuous basis. The constant view of the sun is available through this point. Even eclipses, if it occurs, that will also be taken care of. Chandrayaan 3 is actually a follow-up of Chandrayaan 2 in order to demonstrate end-to-end capability of safe landing and rowing the lunar surface, consisting of a lander and a rover. Orbiter is already there by Chandrayaan 2, and the launcher which is identified for it is GSLV Mark 3. Remember this. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question, which is miscellaneous. Which of the following states has topped the Food Security Index of 2023, which is published by FSSAI? The correct answer is actually Kerala for the first time did that. So it is a proud moment for Kerala according to the CM of Kerala, and that is why we ask you this question. The Food Safety Index actually evaluates the performance of the states and union territories based on different food security parameters such as the human resources and institutional data which is created, what is the compliance when it comes to the criteria, food testing facility, how much you have, training and capacity building of the human resources, how to deal with the food security, what is the consumer empowerment, if there is any lax behavior that is found in food security, then what is the customer, how easily the customer can access the authorities. It was launched by FSSAI in 2018-19. Kerala has topped the Food Safety Index, replacing Tamil Nadu, which is in now 3rd position. It has slipped to 3rd position. Punjab is 2nd, and among the smaller states, Goa has stood first for the 4th time in a row, followed by Manipur and Sikkim. So state-wise also you have to understand, like smaller states, bigger states, union territories, this is also important. Among union territories, Jammu and Kashmir is first, Delhi is second, and Chandigarh is third. This is the third time that Jammu Kashmir has maintained this position. Now, if you want to get the PDF of this, do not only depend on PDF. I request you can subscribe to my Telegram channel, that is Pooja Dwivedi StudyIQ UPSC. Thank you so much.
StudyIQ IAS. अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।